Hey guys, so I've been asked about how these carburetors actually work on your 5 horsepower Briggs, and this is the same for the newer type too. Don't have the pull-out choke, it's got a choke plate, and it have a metal tube here instead of a plastic on this part. They basically work the same. You'll understand here in a minute. And okay, this is the type of a gas tank we're talking about, and this is even the same for your old. This is a Pulsa jet carburetor. You also have a Pulsa prime carburetor that was used on a lot of push mower engines. That the carburetor was bolted on the tank as a plastic carburetor and had a primer button. You push about 3 times and it shot gas in the carburetor body. And they're good carburetors. They start up on the first pull just about every time. But they work the same as this. But okay, so the way this works, this is your main pickup tube. In my last video, I was talking about how to replace these. So if you need information on how to replace it, watch that last video I made. And I didn't change this one. It's still good, nothing wrong with it, so I left it alone. But these, a lot of people get confused on these, and I understand why, but they're actually fairly simple. This part of the carburetor right here is that there's a diaphragm in here in the spring. It's a fuel pump. That's all this part does. And it pumps fuel from the bottom of the tank through this, and it comes out right here in this little slot and dumps it in this part right here. There's a little tiny chamber right here, if you see. See, there's a little chamber right there. So this is always full of gas, and it's got an overflow right here. So if it pumps up too much, it just overflows and dumps back in the tank. So you always got gas circulating, kind of like how a fuel pump on a vehicle usually works. And the only purpose of this is to make it easier to start. It's easier for the carburetor to pull gas out of this little chamber here than all the way at the bottom of the tank. So if you got one of these that's extremely hard to start, you might want to look in here, because these are bad about rusting out. You see, it's got a little bit of surface rust on it. But if no gas is staying in here, the carburetor, you got to pump all the gas out of it, and it's going to be real hard to start. So this is your pickup tube is sitting on the bottom of the tank. That tube goes all the way to the bottom. That other tube, the short one, sits in this little chamber right here. And that's what the carburetor draws the fuel up through. It goes to the engine. The fuel going through this just goes to that chamber and overflows. So there's always gas in it, kind of like how a float bowl, your bowl on a float type carburetor works. There's always gas available for the carburetor. So then your fuel just goes through here, goes through your mixture screw, or a fixed jet if it's the newer type. Then the rest of your carburetor works like a regular carburetor. But that's the main part that separates these from the other type of carburetors, is how it pumps the fuel. And it's actually a very simple and very interesting setup, and it's reliable. About the only thing that goes bad on these is the diaphragms go bad, especially with the ethanol and the gas. They're bad about going out, and they're cheap to replace, and not much to it. And they're picky carburetors. Everything has to be just right on them for them to work. Your fuel mixture has to be set just right. And another common problem is your choke. This one's stiff, but a lot of them move real easy, and they'll either choke themselves out, or they'll when you choke it, when you crank it over, it's got enough vacuum to open it up on its own. It makes it hard to start. So that's another thing you got to check. That's what I had to do on this to get this one ready to go. Still got to clean it up and put a new diaphragm in it. But I just wanted to go ahead and get this part done. That way it'll be done and over with. And yeah, these are real good carburetors. A lot of people don't like them at all, and I understand why. I mean, everything has to be just right for them to work right. And sometimes if you get one that don't want to adjust in, you need to change the needle and the jet and everything right here, and it'll take off doing good then. But well, I just wanted to make a video on how the fuel goes to the carburetor on these. A lot of people get confused with it. So, well guys, if you got any questions or comments about the Pulsa Jet or Pulsa Prime carburetors, feel free to leave a comment below, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can, and hopefully I can help you. So, thanks for watching. Catch you later.